episode 16. Episode 16, go. Stand by, Nicoletta, please. Nicoletta, go. Well, that was brilliant because I almost forgot exactly what episode we're on. But we're on 16. And big news. Big news. I'm going to put that there so I can see. But we've done pretty much all of the edge pieces we have. Quite a few edge pieces in here. But I thought from the last one we were so close. And I thought you couldn't watch the agony anymore. And also I thought Zoe, fiancée Zoe from Devon might complain. Anyway, here we are. That's what we're trying to do. Welcome back for those who are still hilariously watching this. And loads has happened since yesterday's one. Well, first of all, I should do this. Now, I'm really laughing because, first of all, Claire has emailed so I could vacuum that up. Could do. Can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. And I don't want to bring a Dyson out here and just do that. I think it's funny as well because that clearly irritates you. I'm not trying to irritate you, Claire, but that is just making me laugh, right? That you care about that. And also, what I was going to say, I now have not a Scooby-Doo of how to carry on because this is totally insane to look at. I've got a casserole dish and another box of Jigsaw puzzle pieces. And I don't know how to do. I don't know how. If I tip it all out, or do I get a handful? So I'm a bit toying, and I'm worried because now it's so bloody big. I'm going to wobble this camera a lot. I'm worried about. Also, you can see more crap. So you can see a bit more crap in the shed here, and a bit over here, and you can see the whippet sort of in and out. But listen. I've never said this is going to be anything other than rubbish. So God bless you for joining. Right. So do you think handfuls are the way? I think maybe handfuls, so then I find out where they go on the jigsaw. Or, see, actually it's quite good because that piece already is much higher to hold. That piece we know is over here. I think I'm going to have to lock... Oh, this isn't... I mean, let's just hope that soon, in lockdown, when it ends, I can have one of you over here. And I know that people are already lining up to come and gate crash this because... Not because they necessarily want to talk to me, but mainly because I think they just want to help this whole situation out. So I'm going to start by turning over a handful. I'm going to do that. As much as I would love to tip it all out, I'm so tempted. Because that really makes me laugh, tipping it out. Not because it's going to help me any, but just because I know that is going to make loads of you shout, no, don't tip it out. Because you've got very, very involved. I think that's over there. Lobbing it's not going to work, is it? It's going to bounce off and it's going to go into the abyss of this shed. You'll see that we've got a few pieces missing. Oh, I'm going to have to sneak this up. Got a few little bits missing, but I think that'll all come out in the casserole dish. So Claire emailed. Her main concern about all of this situation was this bit of blue. There's going to be loads more, Clary Larry. Don't even worry about it. Big news. Nanny Tish has got 3 new jars to take to the bottle bank. So she's probably going to do that tomorrow, she said. So I'll keep you all up to date with that walk up. Adam, another lighting legend that we know, has been in touch and said, please chat to me, Ju, because you know how I love it. Now, I think he's being ironic because I look Adam in the eye and I feel a right chat on and then he goes into mild panic. But I sort of enjoy that sort of thrill of not the thrill of the anxiety, but now look, see this bit here? Right, that is yellow, and that goes over there. So, lob it. Oh, it got onto Nathan's parents. Patrick, an absolute legend of lighting, who works with Adam, has emailed, and he said, Ju, is there anyone cooler than me? And I said, no. So that was an easy question. Already, this is throwing up little bits of confusion in Ju. I'll leave that there. I think miscellaneous. I mean, it's all miscellaneous at the moment. It's so funny. I'm going to have to move these pots of paint. Hang on. I realised I've hemmed myself in by my own debris. I'd like to give a shout out to great follow spot operator. She's called Hannah, Sophie, Scarlett or Moore. I've been informed. Scarlett or Moore. Apparently she's listening, and Sophie always used to wear, with the follow spots, you're meters high in some of these venues, and she always wears leather tassels, which I think is bold, and she wears leather tassels, and on one event we did, her leather tassels caught caught light, and she nearly went up like an amaretto paper at Christmas. Fortunately, she was doused and rolled in a blanket. But yeah, because her lamp caught on. She had these leather jackets with loads of tassels and trousers to match. Everything over there, throw there. Everything's tassely. She might come back to me with other outfit news on that. I've been asked by a friend in Scotland who heard my story about me at the Citizens Theatre when I was dressed as a monk and was lying on the carpet face down. Anyway, said, tell the story about you and Glenda Jackson. Right, I mean that's uncanny. So Scott from Scotland, who's also emailed today, which I'll read out in a minute. I mean, I have to speak in Scottish so he understands. Obviously, because that's part of my Duolingo. Just an accent. I can just chuck it out there. Look, lob. Right, so when I was an assistant stage manager up at the Citizens Theatre, Glasgow, it was an astounding time with just brilliant directors, and I learned so much, and it was my first job, and it was brilliant. And it still is a brilliant theatre, I'm led to believe. I don't know where to lob that. I don't know to put the yellowy bits together. Anyway, so one of my first jobs was we were doing a show called Mother Courage, and it was very worthy. Lots of Fuller's Earth dust being thrown everywhere. Very dusty, very right on, you know. And anyway, so Glenda Jackson was in it, and she was playing Mother Courage. And she insisted on having a chicken, which you would, wouldn't you, if you could? You'd have the power. So as an assistant stage manager, I had to prop, which is find, a supplier of chickens for this production. And it was quite long running. Oh, I say that, I can't remember. I don't know how long. Anyway, I had to find, for as little money, preferably as free, loads of chickens. Anyway, we found this chicken, I don't know, person. And he supplied us with absolutely hundreds of chickens, frozen, right, for the production. So thank you very much. Thank you. Anyway, so on the first rehearsal, we gave her a chicken. It was pretty still frozen. So that didn't work. Anyway, so she decided, because she was very improvisational, she started plucking it, which was completely fine. So we had to have a fresh chicken every night. Couldn't be a prop one because she plucked it every night, right? So I managed to get all these free chickens. And so I'm wobbling, sorry. Anyway, so she started plucking it on this particular rehearsal, and then in the dress rehearsal, she felt compelled. It just overwhelmed her because she's such a, good, proper, authentic actress. She started spinning this chicken. She started spinning it round her head. And anyway, so she started spinning it and stuff, and all of the insides of this chicken, because we defrosted it, but hadn't thought about anything else, it span around all the invited audience and through giblets, and every part of the inside of the chicken came out. So one of my one of my first jobs there was every night we defrosted these chickens the next day, and I had to glue gun every orifice, and there are more orifices on a chicken than you would imagine. But I had to glue gun every part of the chicken, the little tiny nostrils, the bottom, any part of that chicken that could leak. I had to glue gun it up. I think that's another thing I didn't tell my mum. I don't think she'd have thought I should have stayed in that career. She's probably right. So yes, and I do remember that story, and I'm very glad that you mentioned it. And also for that, no, it wasn't that production. So that all happened, and I was covered in dust for weeks. And then we had another production. The one that I was caught lying on the floor trying to pushing the thingy off. I can't speak today, which is really unfortunate because I've got to fill half an hour. Pushing the throne off, I couldn't do it right. Anyway, same one. I had to get thuribles, incense thuribles. You know, the big smoky incense thuribles that go ahead in big Catholic services. I had to get 100 of those for the set, and you have to ring up all these Catholic churches. That would you like 2 tickets to the show, and if so, can I have your thurible? So I used to drive around Scotland with the guy who had the van, who was a rabid Celtic supporter. That's right, Celtic. many times I was out with, if we ever went past the Rangers football ground, he would absolutely, I'm not even fibbing, he would have run down a supporter if he'd been on the crossing. Anyway, that's another story. Oh, my whippet's here now, so she might wobble the camera. Anyway, so I had to go and collect 100 Catholic thuribles from all over parts of Glasgow and the outer regions. And I'm telling you something, the women that look after those Catholic priests in those days, the ones that, so you knock on the door, and I was only 20, and knock on the door, and I'd have to say, can I see Father, whoever it was? I'd rung up, and oh my God, the look these women gave you. And they put you in a little ante-room, and kept you there for ages. And they were so, I felt a bit, they were hot. The women weren't very nice, let's just say that. I didn't feel comfortable in that room, and they sort of stared at me. And I took my incidents terrible and I ran off. And then I had to return them all, and the same process happened. Anyway, that was a little sideline, and not that interesting, but as I was sort of doing Glasgow stories, Glasgow. Oh, did I bring the emails? Oh, I hope so. I printed them out. Oh, I printed them out. Did I bring them? I don't think I did. Do you know that bloody Florrie, what are you? I can't. Get off. Oh, my God. Right. She's going out. Excuse me. I'm just going to get the emails. I'll be back. Right, okay. So I've had an email. So I printed them out, you see. I'm getting all professional. Right, so this is Scott. This is Scott from Scotland. He's a camera guy, he's great. I hope you were looking at these pieces while I was away to see where you could put them. So can I just also say, looking at this, if you thought that the edge pieces were agony for me to do, I think you should stand by for this, because I think in the time we're going to have off together, anyway, it's going to take years. Okay, so Julia, he doesn't even bother with common courtesy of like, how are you, right? Straight in. Julia, congratulations on almost, but not quite, finishing the edge pierces, spelled wrong, in episode 15. A brilliant plot device to ensure the viewers keep coming back. Well, if only I thought this through that much. But I suppose if you came back to see the edge pieces, then the sadness for you, or maybe you're not, maybe you were only viewing to see the edge pieces and now you've gone. Maybe you're done. I am concerned about my increasing interest in jigsaws, and I have recently gifted my brother a jigsaw of his own face for his birthday. This will not only keep him busy during lockdown and inflate his ego, but will ensure I get my fix of jigsaw updates for some time to come. Well, do you not think this is enough? I mean, do you not think this is going to be much of an update? Do you know what I mean? If you say, Scott, this is 5,000 pieces. Unless your brother's been made into 5,000 pieces. Or, like you say, you might have gone already. Sorry, I've just seen this piece here. God, it's so high. I'm going to just look for that. It's got words on it. It's got words on it. Oh my God. Of course, I'm so used to looking at the edges. I've now forgotten almost that I've got to look. Oh my God. This is so complicated. Hilariously, there's a cafe called Cafe Max. And that's where my Irish friend Mark, with his Deutsche friend Karen, work. But oh my God, I'm going to have to think this through. See, that's... Oh, Cafe Bert, it says. Cafe Bert. So that is... Love it there. Oh, nice. Right, I'm sorry about I'm touching the mic, and I'm sorry that I'm wobbling the camera. Anyway, sorry, Scott. I didn't carry on. I do have one question, and that is with the colour of your tea, which looks very milky. He's done that in italics, the very. It was, actually. This may be down to the camera. Could you confirm how you like your tea so everybody can judge you appropriately? Anyway, I'm off for my messages. Do you want some ginger? That's hilarious. So I said that in Scottish, obviously, so he can understand. My tea the other day was outrageous. I couldn't drink it. And basically, I started keeping the tea bag in, but Bethany made that for me, but she did over milk, and I couldn't drink it. So I have started keeping the tea bag in. I have to have decaf because I'm like a meerkat if I have caffeine. And on many shows, if I have coffee after 3 o'clock, that's me. I am up chatting. I can't have chocolate after a certain time. When I was at Saigon many years ago, Inga Svensson, the landlady of Hove, actually, we'd go out and buy coffees. He'd always keep the receipt. And for to put against his expenses, and I wasn't ever allowed one because they discovered that I chatted quite a lot if I'd had caffeine. And so this chatting, just to tell you, is with no influence of caffeine whatsoever. So you can see why Matt's not bothered if I just come to the end of the garden and do half an hour in here. Right, so thank you, Scott. And no, I don't want ginger, for fuck's sake. Right, okay. This is from the Commodore of Carshalton Beeches, as now named. Right, I have a few questions. Oh, he says, dearest darling Julia. He's still keeping it because he's a Commodore. He's still keeping the courtesy going. Okay. In a couple of your previous episodes, you said that your recent self-inflicted haircut makes you look like a boy. Personally, I must say that it is truly brilliant being a bloke. We can easily pee standing up, and we don't suffer the pain of childbirth, and we don't have to ride our horse's side saddle. If you were a man for one day, what activity or activities would you most look forward to doing? Scratching my testicles. Because I have duly noticed, and I'm sorry to be coarse, and I'm sorry Linda and Malcolm, I'm sorry Jane and Gordon, but I see the pleasure that you all get from scratching and itching and moving them around all day. Right now, if I was at work, and I've said this to many people over the years, if I went to work and scratched my miffy, if I scratched it like that in front of people, quite casually, boldly, with no embarrassment, if I went, somebody would have a word with me, right? And so I would do that. If I could do that for one day, I would literally thoroughly enjoy all of that you lot do. And I know it's childish, but it's not, it's a fact. Right. Recently, I discovered that your favourite meteorologist, Thomas Schaffenacker, the Schaff, thank you, Commodore, is a very talented artist. He took part in a live art show on the telly. He was drawing models in the bath. Just to clarify, he wasn't in the nuddy himself. I don't recognise you, Commodore, as this person writing this. It was the models who got their kit off a camera. What piece or style of art most appeals to your tastes? I love a good portrait. I love the National Portrait Gallery. It amazes me. And I also like the filters on Instagram. But, primarily, I really rather like portraits. Me and Freddie, years and years ago, he had a day off, one of those inset days off school. And I said, come on, let's go to Tate Modern. Come, babes. So we went up on the train, went to Tate Modern, looked around, and I do love some. I sound like an absolute pleb. But some art, when I have to overthink it, I find it a bit tiring. And Freddie and I got to a point where we were looking at, there was a stick on a wall, right? It was a stick on a wall, painted colour stick. And Freddie said, Mum, can we go for some lunch? I went, yes, we can. Yes, we can. I just didn't know what was going on there. So I'm not saying I don't like all modern art, but some things, I don't know, they drain my batteries. Sorry, I wobbled it. When Scott and Sparky sort this overhead camera out and can come down and rig this properly, will be good. This is still from the Commodore. I have never used an emoji. I know that they are very popular, but I've always felt that I could correspond effectively without them. Do you think that I am missing out by not including them in my repertoire? Yes, because I've got a Bitmoji, and that's pretty much the only way that I correspond. Yes, all of them. Funny, I have a Bitmoji, and it's changed my life. And I know that kids don't do it because they find it childish and that they deem it stupid and old-fashioned. But me and the landlady of Hove, actually, the landlady, I think that's probably how we do correspond. So yes, you are missing a trick there, but thank you for your questions. You are very good at questions. Claire, her question was vacuum that up. It wasn't really a question, it was a statement, and she wanted it to happen. Right, I told you about my chicken. Colin has emailed from Scotland. Very big in Scotland and Australia, it seems. He has said, who ate all the pies? And I say you did. So yes, you did. Matt from Hove has messaged me because yesterday, I don't know if you heard, but he does play readings, and I said how sad I was to miss them. Ironic. And he's messaged to say he'd heard that and would I like to join? No. Right, moving on. So my Matt has been growing his hair, but more mainly because he has to, or it's me cutting it, right? So he's been growing his hair and facial hair, which I can't get. And anyway, I looked at it today, and it looked like he had a hot brush. You know the old hot brushes. Lots of you youngsters won't, but there used to be a gas hot brush that you had a little refill, and it looks like he's tonged his hair. It looks like the back of his hair has been tonged. There's so many yeah. Another friend from Scotland has said to me, can you please recount the story of Scottish ballet on tour again? Right, so there is another, sadly, Scottish ballet story, mate. Sorry to my mother and father-in-law about this one. I say that in advance, you can switch off now. So we were touring the Highlands and Islands, and these places were tiny, whiny. Oh, just got to love that over there. Some of these places were absolutely tiny, right? And on comms, if you're chatting away, which is the purpose, a bit like this, is that everybody tells you all sorts of things, right? And so we were chatting, and I was relating a story of how me with a previous boyfriend, there was chocolate mousse involved and a flat, and chocolate. It was Marks and Spencer's, so it was quality and a lot of it. Anyway, and I was relating the story about how I was in the flat covered in chocolate mousse, and all the flatmates came back in, right? And it was a situation. It was like time stood still, and I had nowhere to go. It was like a trapped rabbit. Right, anyway, that was the funny bit. But the worst thing was every time the dancers came on stage, they were like so they came from the dressing room and they would walk past me and they were absolutely just like literally laughing at me. And I thought, I wonder what they're chatting about, because on headsets you're all talking to each other. Anyway, so I thought, I wonder why they're laughing. Anyway, turns out, which I did not know, obs, that the theatre we were in had been so badly put together because it was so tiny that basically one of the electricians had rigged the comm system, but what they'd done is they linked all of the headsets that I was talking on to the front of house bars and to all the dressing rooms and to all the offices. So the story that I was telling, what I thought were about 3 people, because it was such a small little crew and we were just laughing at me, obviously again. In a nutshell, I told pretty much anybody that happened to be near a loudspeaker. So imagine you're standing at Drury Lane, right, having a drink. There's me telling you all about that story. So thank you for reminding me of that, and I'm really chuffed to have chatted about that. So still no word from Ravensburger, not one. But also no complaints from fiancée Zoe today. So I am going to have to check that she's listened or she has died. But I did receive a text message to say that she was relieved that she sorted her garden thrush out. So I know we'll be pleased about that. Her fiancé Ollie, also down in Devon, has emailed to me to tell me that I said, "Oh, are you listening, Ollie?" As I smash him at Words for Friends, 4th in a row. And he said he listened to a bit and he has decided, and I'm going to quote him, he's going to listen when he's closer to death. Which I think is, if it wasn't so funny, it'd be very upsetting. He's chosen He's chosen to listen when he's closer to death. So, yeah. Gareth has emailed. I don't know, Gareth has got 6 million something, 50,000 emails. No, air miles, beg your pardon. Air miles, right? And I looked through the brochure and I thought that he could get like a leather wallet of stuff embossed in a set of headphones. He, however, has said to me that he's chosen, I'm going to read it out, one of those a BA Teddy with the leather goggles, flying goggles, and an inflatable travel pillow. So I thought, well, okay, go for it. I mean, I was a bit surprised, but I also think that the way that BA's going at the moment, he could probably, if he's held out, he could have probably bought an aeroplane. Who else has been in touch? Oh, some people from up north have been in touch and they've said, hey up. So thank you for that. Lynn and Malcolm from Leicester, hola. So they have emailed to say that Laura, who lives in Brighton, who I trained with at Stage Management College, Lynn and Malcolm have emailed to say, Julia, we still have Laura's pencil skirt and briefcase. Now, that's brilliant because at Stage Management College, everybody hangs out in like they're all a bit like the rough version of Fame. Like all the dance students, not dance students, all the musical students are hanging out playing music and all that, and then all the stage management students tend to be wearing black, loads of keys off their chains and a bit grungy. However, Laura got the role of stage manager on one of the shows because we were students and it was her turn, and suddenly my dear flatmate turned up with a pencil skirt on and a jacket and a bloody briefcase with a lot, click, click. Well, I think she regretted that. She wouldn't let it go and she bought it every day, but it was relentless and merciless, as you can imagine, every day. But I'm really, really happy. Oh, I've just found that yellow flower, sorry. I'm happy. I'm going to go over here. I'm so happy that you've still got, what would it, sorry, Mike. I'm really, really happy that you've still got that briefcase because it holds great memories for me, mainly for ribbing your daughter. Who else is there? So what is interesting is that the people that are watching this, you lot, I've got varying degrees of watching. I have some people who, the minute it drops, as we say in the business, watch it and listen, right? And the Commodore is particularly good at this, whatever time of night I can manage to do it. I have a couple of people who are binge watching and are going from number 1 through to whatever this is, 16, right? They've been literally binge watching it over the next day. And then I'm in the background quite a lot. Some people can't, well, I'm not surprised, I'm wobbling all the time now. Some people can't actually bear the watching of this because it's driving them up the wall, wanting to come and join in. But they don't mind the listening. So it's a right mixture. I've only got 49 followers. I need 50 just to round it up, I think. I think what I'm doing is I'm trying to get these in little piles. So if you're wondering, see that? Oh, it's the lobbing of these. I might put the camera that side tomorrow because Bethany's old mic stand is here, which is what I'm wobbling. And Bethany's not very well today, which is why she's not here. And also Fred, the Freditor, has basically, stood down from his responsibilities because university is just too much work. So I've had to start editing my music and my hilarious titles to the front myself. And as a joke, I've sent it to someone I work with who is just the most astounding content designer and builder, and her team are astounding. Their team are astounding. And I've sent that to them as a joke so they can see my jigsaw going like that to see if I can get on the team. But we'll see. We will see. Right, I think my time is up. I'm going to love you and leave you. I've got a lot more to say today, but I'm going to do it for tomorrow. So I'm going to come up with a plan for this. I'm going to come up with a plan. And rather than just, what I think I'm doing at the moment is just taking everything from my casserole dish and laying it out. And I'm sure that's what you're witnessing as well. But I look forward to hearing any opinions because I genuinely don't have a cocking clue as to how to start this for the best. However, I love you all. Stay well. And I'll see you on the next one if you want to. Bye.